you are in our country illegally, cast a ballot. It takes the power of your vote away. Visit onlycitizens.vote to find out how you can contact your legislature and get them to pass a citizens-only voting amendment. Again, visit onlycitizens.vote and defend your right to vote.
Buckout. I served in the Army 26 years, retired as a colonel. I started a business from scratch that created a lot of great jobs for veterans. We help the military develop ways to defeat IEDs, improvised explosive devices, saving the lives of hundreds of American soldiers and preventing thousands of serious injuries. Now let this conservative fighter take on Biden's mess at the border. I'm Lori Buckout. I approve this message.
This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It is a Monday morning. It is time for top of the morning here on the Urban Conservative. I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend. My name is Abdul Ali. I am one half of the TUC twins. I got to give a big shout out to my twin brother, Raheem, architect Soto. A little under the weather this morning, dealing with that flu situation they got going on up there in New York. But as you see on your screen, the website to support what we do, which is to share conservative values and principles and the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across the United States. You can support that mission by visiting tuconservative.com. Again, tuconservative.com. Also, if you happen to be in North Carolina or thereabouts in that area, you can support me in my run for the U.S. House 12th Congressional District here in the great city of Charlotte. We are working to make America better by improving early childhood education, upward economic mobility, and prioritizing the safety of our country. So again, that website, ALIFOR, Congress.com. Now that we done got those plugs out of the way, right? Now that we've got the plugs out of the way, I just got to go here. I'm just going to go here, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason I'm going to go there is because your man Biden, bro. See, first of all, he hit us with if you don't know whether or not you're for me or for Trump, then you ain't black. First, he hit us with that. Then before that, he hit us with the black kids are just as talented as poor kids, you know? Then he hit us with the racial jungle, hit us with the crime bill of 1994. But this, ladies and gentlemen, might be the height of panderism, right? This might be the very height of what is perceived to be panderism, okay? The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's proposal is to ban menthol-flavored cigarettes in the United States faced another setback, according to anti-tobacco advocates who noted that the White House officials have missed another deadline to issue a final rule on a ban. Menthol cigarettes account for a third of the industry's overall market share in the United States. The highly addictive products have been cited for their appeal to young smokers, as well as significant health impacts for Black communities where they are marketed heavily. You cannot front. If you lived in the Black community or if you've been a smoker before, ain't nothing like a pack of Newport box. I know people who would get the soft pack. I was more of a Marlboro man myself, non-menthol, I was a fan of the non-menthol, but this is perceived by some to be a move by the Biden administration to stem the loss of Black voters, ladies and gentlemen. So let's not consider the health and safety of a community. Let's not do that. Let's not enact the law. Let's not go with that. Let's try to figure out a way to pander as hard as we can to the Black community. Let's not cut off their menthol. Let's do that. After the FDA in 2022 issued a long-awaited proposal to ban menthol, Several health and anti-smoking groups urge the Biden administration to enforce it. The administration delayed issuing a final rule in December and now has missed a new deadline. It's set to issue the rule by March 2024. According to a statement Monday from the Campaign for Tobacco Free Kids and the NAACP, both of which support the FDA's push for a ban of menthol cigarettes. Now, civil rights groups have contended for years that menthol cigarettes pose a disproportionately higher risk in Black communities where they are heavily marketed. About 81% of Black adults who smoke cigarettes use menthol, compared with 34% of white adults, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. States including Massachusetts and California have previously banned all flavored tobacco products. U.S. focused tobacco company Altria and rival British American Tobacco both get more than 20% of their revenue from menthol. That's from a Morningstar analyst. So it is not up for debate, ladies and gentlemen. It's not up for debate. Black folks that smoke like menthol cigarettes. But here's where the situation becomes, I think, a little more problematic, is they see, and we're going to talk about Trump and Donald and Mark Robinson here in just a second. But these folks see what's happening. They see they are losing Black voters. They are losing their Hispanic voter base. They're losing Black voters. And this, in my opinion, is an attempt to try to stem that tide. Because I guess in Joe Biden's world, and the people that work for him, Black people, all we do is smoke Newports, drink 40 ounces, listen to Kool and the Gang. We walk around with bonnets on our heads all day, cussing at our children and smoking Newports. That's apparently what the Biden administration thinks of us. Ladies and gentlemen, the ban on menthol has been paused as a result of the Biden administration. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be right back here on Top of the Morning. We got other couple of things we're going to talk about. Trump in Atlanta. We're also going to talk about what Mark Robinson actually didn't say. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back here on Top of the Morning. Alma Adams have brought you chaos at our border, failed foreign policy, sky-high prices, and out-of-control crime. It's time for new ideas and new leadership. Vote Abdul Ali for U.S. House District 12, and let's make America better. Paid for by Ali for Congress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here on Top of the Morning, best 30-minute morning show on the interwebs. Thank you for rocking with us. Before we go on to talk about Mark Robinson and what he actually didn't say, I thought you all would find this interesting. This individual here, Juan Hernandez, okay? Juan Hernandez is in our country illegally, just to boot, just to start you off there. He's from Ecuador. He's in the United States illegally, okay? This is what he did. Boat boy is back at it. They can't even ship him home. The homeless migrant was busted joyriding on a historic Fire Department of New York fireboat and then swiping a sailboat for another leisurely ride and was, get this, released without bail on Friday, only to immediately try to climb aboard an even bigger ship in Manhattan, according to sources who said immigration officials' hands are tied. Juan Hernandez, 22, of Ecuador, was set free by Judge Marva Brown on Friday morning after he took the former FDNY-owned vessel, the John J. Harvey, on a wild journey down the Hudson River Thursday before swiping a sailboat in Chelsea for another jaunt. But the part that I want to point out here is that this man has got no bail, out of jail, free, no matter what. And this is what's happening. And then up in New York, another group of migrants who are guilty of a whole bunch of stuff, were allegedly committed a bunch of stuff. Guns and drugs, they all got out with no bail. And y'all keep talking about how bad Republicans are and how evil and racist Republicans are. What about the American citizen? What about that person's boat? This man clearly ain't got no money. He's in the country illegally. He clearly can't afford to pay for anybody's boat. But that's what New York gets you. I saw that this morning. I figured I'd let y'all know that it gets more and more ridiculous. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to talk about right now. Is our good friend Mark Robinson, the lieutenant governor of the state of North Carolina, soon to be governor, running up against Josh Stein for governor. You know, we've watched over the years, and we assumed, we knew that the media was biased against anything black, Republican, black conservative. They call Candace Owens a far right provocateur. They tend to either try to destroy you or completely ignore you, is what the media does to black Republicans. They try to swipe everything under the rug. And in this particular case here in North Carolina, one of the interesting things is that they're trying to say that Mark Robinson, who is married to a black woman the last time I checked, they are painting the picture that Mark Robinson is misogynist. He's just an evil all around person. But what they've been able to do is convince people that he said something he didn't say. And I found a very interesting video, and you got to kind of give WCNC a little bit of props, just a little bit of props for calling it the right way. So a couple of months back, this came out, and they were trying to say Mark Robinson hates women. He said he wants to go back to a time where women couldn't vote. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I had a conversation with somebody a couple of days ago, and they weren't aware that there was a context that needed to be had. So again, I'm going to rock this with WCNC. Listen to what they had to say.
Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is facing backlash. This after a 2020 video resurfaced on YouTube.
We're not even talking about something current. This is 4 years ago. Come on.
Ask what's the full story behind the video. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg gets the facts in this Verify Fact Check.
So Robinson is well known for making some controversial comments. During an event hosted by the Republican women of Pitt County, Robinson, who was running for lieutenant governor at the time, is caught on camera.
What do you mean he's caught? Do y'all understand the premise of how they frame stories, even though they're going to tell the truth? Do you? It's the subtleties, ladies and gentlemen. He was caught on camera. That's one of the subtleties. Don't let that go by.
Saying he would absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote. But it's important to know the context behind this quote. So let's get the facts. We watched the YouTube video ourselves.
I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
But that little snippet, which has now gone viral, needs a lot of context.
Noticed who is putting this up with no context at all. Huffington Post, Rolling Stone, The New Republic, Daily Beast. Do you see the hit job that the left does? What I say earlier, the media will either try to destroy you by taking you out of context or completely ignore you. And look at the left-leaning media. Look at it. Rolling Stone, Huffington Post, Daily Beast, New Republic. That ought to tell you everything you need to know.
In the 2020 video, Robinson made reference to a previous question that was posed to conservative political commentator Candace Owens. Owens was asked, and this is a quote, "Which America would you want to go back to? One where women couldn't vote or one where black people were swinging from trees?" Robinson then asks himself the same question, and he says he would pick the situation in which women couldn't vote. He explains by saying America was better then because Republicans fought for real social change. WCNC Charlotte has reached out to Robinson's campaign to ask about this video, but we have not heard back. So while Robinson did say he wanted to go back to an America where women couldn't vote, that quote itself is taken out of context in this.
Pretty much what you needed to hear, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty much par for the course when it comes to what the media does. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I might have answered that question a little differently. I'd have said I'd prefer we never had those incidences in our history. But are there incidences like women not having the right to vote? It's incidences like slavery that allowed our country to be great by overcoming those things. So I wouldn't want to go back to either one of them. That would have been my answer. But I think Mark Robinson's answer was, for him and for the room that he was in, was absolutely perfect. Because there was a time when the Republican Party did have to fight for the important things like the women's right to vote, like blacks' right to vote, like ending slavery. An entire war fought to end slavery. Matter of fact, people tend to forget, and this is something I don't think we do enough justice on our side of the aisle saying, is that the Republican Party was founded as the abolitionist party. We are the party of freedom. We are the party of faith. We are the party of family. Mark Robinson represents those things, and I think that is really pissing off for lack of a better way to put it. It's pissing off people on the left. Now, the other thing that I heard, and the interesting thing about this, and we're going to talk more about this when it comes to Trump, is that Republicans have to do a better job of reaching out to minority voters. And I think that there's some nuance in that. There's some difficulties from a top-down perspective that we have to assess. And I think there's things we have to take into consideration. Ultimately, are we fighting in our urban areas? Are we getting the message out for Mark Robinson in our urban areas? Are we getting the message out for Donald Trump and for our Supreme Court justices here in North Carolina and across the country? Are we really fighting in our urban areas? And that's what really matters. So, again, Mark Robinson did not say he doesn't want women to vote. The man did not say that. What he said was was paraphrasing a question that was asked of Candace Owens, and he put it in the context of the room he was talking in which was the Pitt County Republican Women's. But speaking of black voters, we're going to come right back after this commercial break. We're going to talk about Donald Trump's pit stop in Atlanta and how the left is losing their minds over that. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back on Top of the Morning.
Because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are back here on Top of the Morning at the Urban Conservative. I got to give a big shout out to President Donald Trump, former President Trump, about to be president again, Donald Trump. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a problem with Donald Trump stopping at the Chick-fil-A, meeting with the workers there, if you have a problem with that, then you are a miserable human being. Sorry. If you have a problem with Donald Trump interacting with those young people, you, sir, you, ma'am, are part of the problem. Okay. Now, if you don't know, Donald Trump stopped in Atlanta. Okay. Stopped at a Chick-fil-A in Atlanta, had an opportunity to interact, to work with some of the folks that were working there. And I got a video here. Here we go. This is it. This is it right here. Here you go.
Look at the way you hold. You like each other, right? That's right. I think that's very nice. Have a good time. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. So we'll order 30 milkshakes. We'll give them out to the people, and we'll take some for ourselves. Okay? Good. Thank you very much, everybody. Hello.
This has got a great American franchise, Chick-fil-A.
It is. It's a great franchise. The owner is a great man who's a member of one of my clubs, and he's fantastic. And yeah, they do very well. They're closed on Sunday.
The Lord's Chicken.
That's the Lord's Chicken. You're right. It's good chicken, too.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. What's weird about this, right?
Hello, everybody.
What's weird about this is Joe Biden can't do that. You see that there's no guy having to guide Trump
Get
around the
ready for
restaurant.
a milkshake. You got plenty of them. All right. You got plenty of good-looking guys. Huh?
This is an original from 2016.
Oh, I love this guy. I like that guy. Do you have a pen for me? Give me a good pen. That is the original, huh?
From 2016, Cleveland.
You've been there from the beginning.
Absolutely. From the invention.
You knew what was happening.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So there you have it. Trump interacted with some of the folks there at the Chick-fil-A. Now, the problem is, okay, we're going to go back to this tab. The problem is, as if Joe Biden doesn't have staged events, okay? As if Joe Biden doesn't have staged events. They're saying that now this was all staged. This was fake. There's no real black support for Donald Trump. But meanwhile, right, instead of Joe Biden popping up and popping up at the Chick-fil-A, this is what you get.
I think that one did. That's awesome.
Ms. Barlow, please excuse Carter for his absence today, but I needed his advice, so we had lunch together.
Right. So this ain't staged though. This ain't a setup. Yo, this is right here. What you got is President Biden interacting naturally with black people, right? This isn't staged at
I
all.
think I struggle with
Right? The y'all want to beef because the young lady knew Trump was coming. Okay, she knew he was coming. All right. The fact I'm going to read this straight from the AP. Scenes of the Donald Trump being greeted by black audience at Chick-fil-A electrified conservative political media at a moment when Republicans hope to make inroads with Democrats' most committed voting bloc. Those shared moments were days in the making, an alliance between the Trump campaign, local activists, and students at some of the nation's most iconic, historically black colleges. Would you listen to that? Trump, local activists, and students at HBCUs. Doesn't that sound like it's terrifying to the left? Trump and his allies argued he can win greater black support due to his messages on the economy and immigration, a notion President Joe Biden campaign rejects because these Negroes can't think for themselves, according to the Joe Biden campaign. Some of his outreach to African Americans has played on racial stereotypes, promoting $399 branded sneakers. What the flying farfignugan is racist about sneakers, ladies and gentlemen? Could somebody get in the comments and let me know what is exactly racist about a pair of sneakers? This guy here thinks that Trump putting out his sneakers, I'll call it what it is. It's a hustle. He thinks Trump is a racist. This is ridiculous. Or suggesting that black people with empathize with dozens of his felony charges and has offended longtime critics and some potential allies. The campaign considered Wednesday's photo op at Chick-fil-A a stop he made on the way to a fundraiser in Atlanta, a win that produced viral videos shared by his allies and discussed by supporters and opponents alike. People find it hard to believe that there are young black people who had loved the opportunity to meet Trump, said Michaela Montgomery, a conservative activist and founder of Conserve the Culture, which recruits and educates college students and young alumni at Atlanta's historically black colleges and universities. Montgomery, a former Georgia Republican Party staffer who coordinates events for HBCU students open to conservative ideas to meet with politicians and activists, said she was notified earlier in the week that Trump would visit Atlanta's Vine City neighborhood during his trip to a high-dollar fundraiser. She notified a group of students. She used to coordinate events and job opportunities about the president's visit. She received immediate interest in appearing alongside him from around a dozen students. Stop right there. So this sister that you see on the left there did exactly what she was supposed to do. She called her friends, the people that she knew supported Donald Trump, who also happened to be black. She said, the president's going to be here. We're going to sit in the restaurant and wait for the president to come through and hopefully have an opportunity to do that. So was it staged as in it's fake? No. She really had to call her friends. They really had to sit there. They really had to wait for Donald Trump to come through. She really had to wait for the opportunity to talk to the president. Okay? It's a double standard. Okay? It's a double standard that the left doesn't want. Okay? It's a sickening double standard, because what ends up happening is they'll look at incidences like this. They'll look at situations like this and then try to say it's a scam. Trump scammed people by having people there early to meet him. Don't we all do that in politics? Don't we all set up an event? You're going to tell me that Joe Biden, this Joe Biden having fried chicken and hot dogs with this family who isn't set up? That's what you're going to tell me? It's ridiculous. But I do think one thing that we got to take in mind of is that the left is absolutely terrified. They're terrified of the Black Conservative Federation. They're terrified of the Frederick Douglass Foundation. They're terrified of the Douglass Leadership Institute. They're terrified that black voters in urban centers across this country are starting to look at Republicans. They're starting to look at Donald Trump, and they're starting to look at them as opportunities to improve their community. Black folks remember we were doing way better under Donald Trump. Lowest unemployment, home ownership on the rise, higher labor force participation rate. We knew that inflation was low. We knew that energy costs less. We could buy more for our buck under a Trump economy than we can under a Biden economy. Black folks realize that stuff. We don't need people telling us we're too stupid to figure out whether or not we're for Trump and that we're not black if we support him. Yeah, that's the first thing the left always tries to do, is they try to attack your blackness the minute you decide to think differently. You don't really know your people. You're not in tune with the struggle of your people. If you were, that's the line we hear. That's the line that Mark Robinson gets. That's the line like people like Ben Carson got. That's the line like people like Vernon Jones of Georgia got. That's the line that people in North Carolina running for office get, especially when we're running on the Republican side. But I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the left is terrified that Donald Trump is going to make major inroads, not just with the black community, not just with the young community, but with all segments of America who want to do better. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been checking out Top of the Morning here on The Urban Conservative. We go live every Monday through Friday and each and every Monday night at 8 p.m. for the Urban Conservative podcast. Make sure you are with us each and every Monday night at 8 p.m. Coming up soon, we got Lieutenant Governor candidate Hal Weatherman's going to be joining us here in North Carolina. Him and Mark Robinson are going to be doing some amazing things. Also, if you haven't done so already, you need to get yourself registered for the new Carolina's new leadership summit that is going down April 27th in Greensboro. I should have had the picture pulled up already, but again, the new Carolina's leadership summit is going down April 27th in Greensboro. We got Mark Robinson and a bunch of other folks coming. So enjoy the rest of your Monday. Make it a positive and productive one. I'll see you out there on these streets as we get to it, sharing conservative values and principles. For my twin brother, Raheem, Architect Soto, I am Abdul Ali. This has been Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. Y'all have a positive and productive rest of your Monday. Peace.